7, and I will be your moderator for this evening's live debate for our presidential candidates hopeful for the National Secondary Students Council. This afternoon, we have 5 candidates that are vying for the coveted position to be your president. And they will be presenting, each of them will be presenting to us their plans, following which each candidate will have the opportunity to answer questions. Now, I just want to say that the rules would have already been shared and precedent would have already been established from other positions before. However, for this debate, I want to emphasize before we continue that after the candidates will have presented their plans, we will have each person on this Zoom or on YouTube, wherever you are, you will have an opportunity to ask questions immediately. So opponent candidates can ask questions as well as delegates can ask questions. All right. For this evening, we have Brian Anderson, we have Oshane Hall, we have Nikquille Lawani, Michaela Poppley, and Briana Brevitt. These are the persons who will be presenting to us their plans. And I just want to say that each person will be timed. You have 7 minutes in which to both present and answer questions. And we will consider, as this is indeed the presidential race, we may consider giving you an extra 10 seconds to ask questions. All right, so let me hear you. Let me see those hands going up. Open your mics. Let me hear if you are hearing me clearly and if you're all ready for the presentations this evening.
Hearing you clearly, Mr. Warren, hearing you clearly, and I'm excited.
Thank you so much, Ms. McLaughlin. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to just go right ahead now, and I am going to be inviting, as it is on the slate this evening, the first candidate who is from Region 5, this Monroe, and that is Mr. Brian Anderson, presidential candidate, to make his presentation.
I am here. Ready? You hear me clearly?
Yes, I am.
Hear me clearly? Everything is okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. So the future is calling and the vision is near. Your next national president is finally here. Good evening. I am Brian Anderson and I am running to be the next president of the National Secondary Students Council. I currently serve as the Students' Council president of Monroe College, where I've had a tenure that is revered as the most impactful in recent history. I've led initiatives such as a Region 5 mental health awareness event featuring 11 mental health professionals and various students' councils across Region 5. I planned the largest student-led infrastructural project at my school, along with several other notable accomplishments. Now, I am ready to bring that same experience and unwavering commitment beyond Monroe College to serve every student across Jamaica. Guided by the philosophy, it's only impossible until someone does it, I stand firm on the idea that we as students hold the power to shape real change and lasting change in not only our school community, but the entire country. This isn't just another speech. This is a blueprint to a national movement to defend the rights and accomplish future dreams of every Jamaican student. A movement that says enough is enough. Enough of our youth being talked about, but never talked to. Enough of our councils being inactive and unengaged. Enough of this dunce mentality within our young men that is holding us back. It's time for a change, and that change begins with us. I'm talking about something powerful, like a National Youth Advocacy Board, where students like you and I stand side by side with organizations such as Free Children Jamaica and UNICEF. Together, we will fight for youth rights and make sure that your voice is heard and respected. We're united youth-driven organizations to collaborate with the Ministry of Health to ensure that the new school nutritional policy is implemented in a timely manner. We'll launch nationwide campaigns educating students about their rights, health and nutrition, along with several other topics. This isn't just information, it's empowerment, and we will champion it. And to my fellow young men, it's time to rise up. We're launching the MEN, the Male Empowerment Network. We're building male leaders, not just passive students, through campaigns, mentorships, and serious conversations to help our young men conflicted with this guns mentality. We will activate every student council across the island to not just sit in meetings, but to lead. Regional executives will assign basic missions such as organizing service initiatives, fundraisers, and small service projects. We encourage student council members to create reports and council accomplishments for board meetings, and the NSSC executives will use the same reports for structured feedback to enhance our councils. Furthermore, we're creating the official NSSC pins and shirts to recognize you student councillors as official NSSC members. However, if you think you don't have enough training for your position, don't worry, we've got you covered. We will launch the NSSC training series that will teach you about leadership, advocacy, and public speaking, you name it, all in an effort to help you become a better student leader. But it doesn't stop there. Your mental health matters, and we are building support systems within our schools by collaborating with the Ministry of Health, Bellevue Hospital, and other organizations to educate regional council members who will then take these insights to their schools and break the stigma against mental health through targeted collaboration. Last but certainly not least, we know that some of our talented individuals lack the financial support to keep going. We're fixing that today. With partnerships like Scholarships Jamaica and the Ministry of Finance and Public Service, we'll collect a wide collection of scholarships, internships, and grants and make them available and distribute this information online and within our schools so that no one gets left behind. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than a title. This is a generation rising. We're not just hoping for change. We are creating it. We're not just students. We're the fighters, the leaders, and the builders of a better tomorrow. Let's ignite a new era of student empowerment and achieve the impossible together. For every voice, Brian is the winning choice. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson, for a very spirited and well-executed presentation this afternoon. Now, the floor is open for anyone who wishes to ask Mr. Anderson any question based on his presentation. Candidates, opponents, you may ask if you're able to raise your hand. Raise your hand so we can identify you. We don't have everybody chipping in one at a time. All right, I'm seeing two hands and I would acknowledge White. You may go ahead at this time.
All right, thank you. Hello, Brian. This is Shaquan White. I'm going for the General Secretary position for the 2025-2026 season. And my question for you is, as the president, as the person who will be the forefront of the NSSC, what is day one initiative that you will put in place to make sure that everything moves smoothly?
Okay, thank you for that question, Mr. Shaquan. A very good friend, by the way. The first thing I plan to do is to reach out to the principals of every school. We will send emails to each of these schools telling them a basic outline of the plans we have for the upcoming academic year. We will then reach out to the schools through media such as courtesy calls, and in an effort to activate them, we will assign monthly tasks for them to complete, and then we will have them write reports based on those tasks, and our regional executives will give structured feedback. So to answer your question, that will be my first initiative.
All right.
Does that answer your question sufficiently, Mr. Shaquan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Answered. We will now move to Kayla Marie Thompson for question.
Okay, good afternoon. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, Ms. Thompson.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Kayla Marie Thompson, Region 5 Secretary/PRO candidate. And I would just like to ask, after observing your plans to implement the MEN initiative, is there anything that you have planned targeting young female minds, or is it just the young men for now?
All right, thank you for that question. So after completing my manifesto and posting it online, I've got that question a lot actually. So what I want to do is to create a version of the MEN. I'm not sure if it's possible. It depends on the female support that I will get. That will be more targeted to breaking the stigma against things like menstruation and female rights. We want to empower the females to lead in our society as well and to not fear things such as talking about menstruation. So to answer your question, I want to do it, but it depends on the female support. And I implore all executives to join the MEN as well, as we want to empower all the males within our different schools. And if I will do the female version of the MEN, I would love some female support, especially from different executives. My bad. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that does. Thank you very much.
Right, we will have another question now from Nikquille Lawani. May go ahead.
Good day, everyone. Presidential candidate as well. My question to Mr. Anderson. For the National Youth Advocacy Board, right? We already have enough of these, right? So what makes yours so unique? Why are we creating another one?
Okay,
we need to focus on the real change.
All right, so to answer your question, it is not exactly new. It is more geared towards uniting the different youth-driven organizations to make a lasting impact on the youth. So what I plan to do is to have meetings with these different organizations, have them in one place where they can collaborate, how they can potentially share resources, and overall more effectively empower the youth. Does that answer your question?
Not to the extent that I would want it, because
Okay,
you see, these things are
Alright.
already here as.
Yes.
If I may.
Let me chip in. All right, so we are not going to be asking if the question is sufficiently answered, but once you would have rendered an answer, that is what we're going to be taking. All right.
Okay, so.
And it is one question per individual. So I hope there was not another follow-up, Mr. Lawani. And in the interest of time, we are going to now be moving on, and we're going to be congratulating Mr. Anderson here for representing himself so well this afternoon, for answering tough questions and pertinent questions, and indeed representing yourself well. Indeed, the day for voting will decide if you will be the candidate representing the NSSC. So thank you for coming and representing yourself so well. All right. We are going to be moving right along, as I said, and as we go along, we may amend. And so since we had Mr. Anderson having the opportunity to face 3 questions, we will continue if persons wish to ask questions to the other candidates, with only 3 questions being asked per candidate. In the interest of time, at the end, we do have times. If we do have time, then we may, at the discretion of Ms. McLaughlin, give you that opportunity. So we go right ahead now, and we go over now to Region 3. We're going to Fernport High School, where presidential hopeful Mr. Oshane Hall will be now making his presentation.
Hello, everyone. You're hearing me clearly, right? Okay. I'm waiting on confirmation.
Yes, you're clear. Go ahead.
All right. Do you have a passion for change? Do you want a better and stronger NSSC? Are you tired of building on shaky promises instead of a solid blueprint? Because this movement needs more than a speech. It needs foundation, a real structure, a real plan, and a leader who will not just talk, but act. I am Oshane Hall, and I'm running to be your president of the National Secondary Students Council. As a motivator, a trendsetter, and a visionary, and a student leader who builds not for today, but for tomorrow. My friends, to every aspiring candidate, I ask this. Do you truly see yourself as the next president of this great council? With all due respect, my friends, I won't say that word. Because what this council needs is not a title holder, but a builder. And let me remind you, every student here today, leadership is action, not position. We are not here to recycle merely quotes and rhyming words that have been said over and over again. We are here to carve a new way and a new path forward. And so I offer you not promises, but pillars, not a fantasy, but a framework, a bold, brave blueprint for the future of NSSC. We're not just going to build it, we're going to build it to the max. Pillar 1, the National Students' Council Inspectorate, NSCI. The NSCI will be the backbone of our accountability, a fully functional body designed to evaluate and rate student councils, ensuring each is fulfilling their duty nationally, regionally, locally. But more than that, it will keep us, even the national executive itself, in check. It's not just about performance, it's about supporting councils, tracking our promises, and delivering results. Pillar 2, revamping the NSSC task force. We're breathing new life into them. We want a task force that is accessible to every student in every single school across Jamaica who want to serve, advocate, and act. From the classes to our Build It to the Max tour, you will see them in action. It will be a platform for young leaders across Jamaica to step up, be heard, and not just be selected. Pillar 3, boosting visibility through the NSSC Ambassador Program. No more silence from school. Through the NSSC Ambassador Program, we will ensure NSSC has a voice in every secondary school in Jamaica, appointed by the Student Council President and approved by the National Executive. The ambassador will bridge the gap between the schools and the national body, keeping us visible, vocal, and of course, vibrant. Pillar 4, celebrating our 50 years of NSSC. This year makes our golden jubilee. 50 years of impact, but we're not here just to embrace history. We're here to show it off. We'll be launching the National NSSC Legacy Week in November, reflecting our roots, showcasing student leadership, and laying out our next 50 years. We are the legacy, the living, the breathing, and the building. Pillar 5, the Build It to the Max tour. Now, as you see my cap, a tour with a mission. We're coming to you, your schools, your region, your parishes. This tour aims to hit every single parish in Jamaica with an objective of 100 schools. Not just visits, but true engagement. We will be holding town hall meetings, listen, support, and ensure your voice shapes the policy of the council. Every student must be feel heard, seen, because we're not just building in isolation, we're building together. Pillar 6, elevating regional inclusion. It's time to break decentralization. Through visual town hall meetings and national events in every parish, a stronger support for regional councils will be giving students from a corner of the island a chance to lead and participate. Inclusion is not longer a promise, it's a priority, nationally, regionally, and of course, locally. Every student counts. My friends, this campaign is about a person. It's about all of us, about the blueprint that we lead to buildings, about the foundations that leads to future, about advocacy, visibility, and results. If you're ready to settle in, if you're ready to make your voice count, then I say to you, vote Oshane Hall for the president of the National Secondary Students Council, and let's build it to the max, regionally, nationally, and locally. May God bless you all, and may God bless the National Secondary Students Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall, for your presentation. I am seeing the first hand going up. And remember, we're going to be taking 3 questions. All right, so I saw a hand. Brianna Smith was the first hand. Then I saw Shaquan and Nikquille. Brianna?
Sir, it wasn't a raised hand, it was a club.
Okay, all right. So Shaquan and Nikquille, you may go ahead, Shaquan, with your question.
Hello, Shane. Shaquan White here, General Secretary candidate. My question to you is, what do you mean on your manifesto when you are speaking on building on the history of National Secondary Student Council?
Okay, as the first person who recognized that the 50th anniversary was on approach, I have to realize that we're not just building here. We have to ensure longevity, accountability, and make sure, for sure, that we leave a legacy. 50 years of voices cannot be rewritten. 50 voices need to be embraced. So yes, I believe building on the legacy and building on its history with the 50th year anniversary will definitely give us the commemoration and the recognition that we need as NSSC. I hope you don't ask that.
All right. I recognize the hand of Nikquille Lawani. You may go ahead with your question.
Sir, with all due respect, I also have about 50 questions for Mr. Hall. Is it
You
possible
only
if I
have
may
one,
even get the
sir.
opportunity to ask 2, sir?
1.
All right, sir, no problem. So when it comes on to the National Secondary Council Inspectorate, right, sir? Where in the NSSCI do you give students the power? We don't need a tracker, you know. What we need is like a tribunal for student power.
We speak about students. This won't be a body led by just adults here. We have to ensure it's going to be a subdivision of NSSC. It will operate just like a task force. These are individuals. It won't be someone who heads it either. I want someone who's a regular president can be able to run for these things and to ensure that they can keep not only us in check, but themselves. So I believe it's an open opportunity for positions for everybody to not only embrace themselves, but to see that it's time for us as nationals, regionals, and even locals that we need to step into place. And when we make promises, we don't come with emptiness. So I believe NSSCI will not be led by adults. We don't need a tracker, yes, but you have to keep yourself accountable. You will keep yourself accountable by yourself, yes, but
right,
when you have
Mr. Hall, in the interest of time, I'm going to ask you to try and also shorten your responses to the questions. All right, sir?
In summary, the NSCI will not just be adults or appointed people who sit in a position. It will be an open opportunity for everyone to have a voice. Forms will be there and everything to ensure that we're not just keeping ourselves accountable with adults, because we're not looking for a tracker here. Simple.
All right, thank you. And your final question based on hands raised will be coming from the current president, Laurel Williams. You may go ahead.
Hi, Laurel.
Hi, Oshane. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am Laurel Williams, the current national president. So, Oshane, my question for you is, it is coincidentally regarding the NSCI. I do like the idea, and I just wanted to ask, since you had mentioned previously that it would be, I think you had said appointed people, and you had mentioned that these individuals would be to keep both the national executives and the task force members accountable, keep them in check. So who would be a part of this inspectorate? Would it be students? And if it is students, who would appoint them, or how would that process go about? And can students effectively keep up students or keep them accountable?
Okay, so my progress, how I want this to go is to, it won't be just a student-led body, because you have to also understand that students can be biased. So we have to mix it with different mixers from different bodies, organizations, like the NIPD, NSSC, and then we want to, these students will be appointed from the regional level. I will get sent from the new regional heads, and they will give recommendations of these students. And then now it's very similar to the NSSC ambassador program, where you get approved not by the national executive, but Miss McLaughlin herself. Because these students will not only be on a board just saying, oh, Oshane, you need to keep yourself accountable because you're not promising you're not doing this. These are students who are going to be on the ground with us, on the ground with the regional executives when they're doing the courtesy call. The students who are going to check on all these things, check the check and balances, give the ratings for every single school in Jamaica. Every secondary school in Jamaica, we can do so much. So it won't be just a set body either. This will be a rotating set of students. So for one term, one set of students will lead, and then we change over to a second set of students, and then now for the third term, we do the same thing. So we won't have someone who just loves the position, and we won't have where they would need to really keep up because their tenure only lasts for a term. So I hope that answers my question.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Hall, for responding to all three questions. Thank you to everyone who asked questions of Mr. Hall, who has come out indeed in his hard hat, ready and prepared.
All right.
We do likewise wish you all the best at the polls when they open. We will now continue.
Thank you.
In our debates. We are going to be remaining again in Region 3, but this time we are moving over to York Castle High. And interestingly, ladies and gentlemen, the next candidate which we are going to be hearing from is the current General Secretary of the National Secondary Students Council. So, Mr. Nikquille Lawani, over to you, sir. You may lower your hand.
See me and hearing me?
Yes, you can lower your hand because you won't be asking yourself any questions.
I'll leave it up for now, if that's okay. All right, so may I begin?
Yes, go ahead.
All protocols observed. Good day, students of Jamaica. Today, I come with a declaration that our stories as student leaders must be rewritten. I'm tired of seeing student councils treated like a checkbox on the administration's list. Let me be clear. We are not a formality. We are a force. We were given a seat at the table to voice student concerns. So we must demand that seat, demand respect, and demand transformation. It's time to rewrite our history. Without a doubt, I am the most experienced candidate for national president, having served for 2 years, as well as being the president of the York Castle Council after serving for 3 years. Check out our Instagram. I've represented the NSSC on regional, national, and international stages. My manifesto addresses the real challenges we face. It is not a promise, it is a plan. I am not a one-and-done hit-and-run president. I am here for the long run. I am here to rewrite our history. So, how will we rewrite our history? We will start with SHIFT. Students harnessing insight for transformation. Our students are suffering. SHIFT is a mental health revolution focused on healing, not hiding, prevention, not punishment. We'll host school-wide workshops, share real-life stories, and partner with stakeholders. And then at year's end, we'll host a conference with students, not just experts, at the center of the conversation. But mental health is just one piece of our map to rewrite history. To build on this, we have voice division. How many councils feel powerless? How many of you had your ideas dismissed and your voices ignored? Voice division will bridge the gap between students and administrations. Councils are not photo ops. We'll host stakeholder consultations, launch a student leadership guide, and create formal partnerships with the Association of Principals and Deans. We will no longer ask for respect, but we will demand it. Leadership must also be protected. Let us focus on reform, and then we focus on the branding. We cannot build on a weak foundation. That's why we will set the foundation by lobbying the government to create the rights and compliance scorecard and the ISST. No student should be suspended without due process. No council should be dissolved without reason. The scorecard will publicly rate schools on student rights, and the tribunal, that's where silent students get their justice. Now, the H in history stands for hear us. This consists of quarterly national town halls and ensuring decentralization of our events from the Williams administration so that every student will have access, opportunity, and representation. I stands for Inspire Change. Through our Rise, Lead, Inspire Courtesy calls, we'll meet with full councils, not just presidents. Every councillor and student matters, from explaining rights to empowerment, achieving it all. Alongside this, we will continue to strengthen our task forces. Now, support beyond school. We will roll out our financial and digital literacy workshops island-wide in potential collaborations with Fundu, teaching students to budget, manage social media, start businesses, and be job ready. Now, the T stands for the Scholar's Guide. Need guidance on universities? We will walk with you every step of the way by providing workshops, mentorship programs, and alumni Q&As. Now, O stands for Outreach and Charity. NSSC will expand Christmas outreach and start offering microgrants to struggling councils in collaboration with the Treasurer. R stands for Recognizing Excellence. In our 50th year, we'll host the National Youth Awards and publish a 50th anniversary magazine with parades, conferences, and branded merchandise. We'll proudly celebrate our legacy. And finally, the Y. Youth speak, we act. We'll keep pushing for CXC reform, marking transparency, and a national school nutrition policy to be implemented this year because our students deserve better. Now, I have had my mind set on becoming president from grade 8. That year changed my very perspective of student leadership. I am truly blessed and I must thank God for even giving me the opportunity to walk down this path. And I want to share this with the entirety of the Jamaican student population. All my ideas were rewritten by the students. This calls for a parliamentary change. This will rewrite student governance within our schools. I am not a one and done hit and run president. I am here to work to ensure that every student has a seat at the table. The NSSC cannot be taken as a joke. We have to make our breakthrough. We must change. We cannot stand for laws that were put in place but not being enforced. This plan is backed by knowledge and the experience garnered for my past 2 years in the NSSC. I know how it is on the regional level and I know how it is on the national level. We must have a strong president. We must have stronger communication. I refuse to see the NSSC push towards the sidelines. We must rewrite our history. And the only person in this presidential race that can do that is me. On April 28th or the 29th, please do settle the bill and vote for Nikquille. Thank you. Open to any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lawani, for your presentation. This afternoon, I am going to be recognizing the hands. I see 2 hands raised thus far, and we are taking 3. All right, so I now see 3 hands raised. I'm going to be recognizing the persons who evidently have questions. So we'll go in this order. Mr. White, Mr. Hall, and Miss Smith. Go ahead, Mr. White.
Hello, Nikquille. Shaquan White here, General Secretary Candidate. I wanted to ask, what do you actually mean when you speak on rewriting the history of NSSC when actually, like, we've already built a lot of history at NSSC? What do you mean by rewriting it?
All right, thank you for that question, of course, Mr. White. Now, what I mean by rewriting history, or why I chose this as my theme for this campaign, is because back in 1975, the idea was introduced, 1980 put in place by the Education Act, of course. Students are given a voice by the students' councils, right? Oftentimes we see our student councils suppressed by administration, suppressed by whatever causes, and that really demotivates them. Now, my aim is to ensure that the principals and the deans and the guidance councils, everybody's aware of what the student council is and how we can help the student council grow better, because what we are doing is inspiring our future leaders. That's why we want to rewrite our history. It's time for us to rewrite our history. We cannot have councils not advocating for the students. We cannot have suspensions over here with no due process followed. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So there's that. Oh, well, I can't ask that, but yeah, that's basically why I chose rewriting our history as our theme.
All right, thanks, Nikquille.
Yes, no problem.
Right, Mr. Hall, you may go ahead with your question.
Hello, President Hall. No, sorry. You have boldly claimed that NSSC's foundation is weak, yet you were a part of the very administration you're discrediting. If this last administration did exceptionally well, as many would agree, are you now saying your own leadership contributed to the failure, or are you simply rewriting the narrative to serve your campaign?
Not at all. Basically, what I'm insinuating is that past NSSCs was built on a weaker foundation, right? The NSSC I've been a part of in the Lewis administration, we accomplished quite a bit by even implementing the task forces that I currently speak about. Revamping, and then the Williams administration that I was the National General Secretary a part of, and that's how I was able to start rewriting my history. Now it's time to continue that narrative to ensure that we can do better. Because as you can see clearly how we've had basically like the written things that go to gleaners, right? That we've met with gleaner as well to ensure that our students are, we're advocating for our students and are ensuring that they are safe within their schools. We've been published on the Observer multiple times and have gotten feedback from the students as well. So we're building on that history, we're creating and rewriting that history simultaneously. Yes, thank you.
Right, and the final question to you, Mr. Lawani, comes from Briana Smith. Go ahead with your question.
Okay, so hello everybody. I am Briana Smith, vying for the position of National PRO. So my question to you, Nikquille, is you claim to be the most experienced candidate in this race. Are you suggesting that everyone else is running and is unqualified? Because if it's experience you use to classify yourself as a leader, what are you really trying to say?
I'm just saying, based on what I'm saying is that I have the experience from the previous years that allow me to know the processes of the NSSC. Not everyone that comes into the NSSC will know how the processes of the NSSC work. I'm not saying that they're unqualified, because we have seen presidents in the past that ran without being a part of the NSSC. But I'm saying that it's a better option for people who are experienced to actually be the president. That's basically why I say that I am the correct choice, because I have the most experience and I know how the NSSC works. So that's basically what I'm saying.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Lawani, brings us to the end of your presentation, including question and answer session. You represented yourself well, and like the others before you, I wish you all the best at the polls on the day when they open and when they close. All right, thank you for coming and representing yourself. We move right along, ladies and gentlemen, now to Region 1. And we have from the Immaculate Conception High School, with the Immaculate, Michaela Poppley. Ladies and gentlemen, make her welcome. Ms. Poppley, you may go ahead with your presentation.
Is everyone hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, so just a second. My worthy opponents, fellow national candidates, moderator, and all tuned in. Greetings. My name is Michaela Poppley, and I'm here today not just as a candidate, but as a fellow student who truly believes in the power of youth leadership to transform our nation. With humility and purpose, I present myself as the next president of the National Secondary Students' Council, if God so wills. My goal is simple: to ignite real change in youth advocacy. This isn't about empty promises, it's about student-led action that starts in the classroom and reaches policymakers. And ignite, it's more than just a word. It's an acronym with each letter standing for a core part of my vision, not a slogan, a strategy. Starting with informed advocacy, My principal always reminds us that as educated students, we have a duty to make informed decisions. At the end of the day, I didn't know is never an excuse. It's on us to learn, to ask questions, and to use what we know to make a difference. Through the Know Your Rights campaign, I'll advocate for training on the Education Act, school board representation, and negotiation skills for student councils. I'll also introduce anonymous suggestion boxes throughout schools in each region and push for an annual youth town halls where students can speak directly to leaders, and this will be aired on local media and supported by a virtual student newspaper to keep everyone informed and empowered. Grounded reform. As a prefect, I believe in structure and discipline, but I also believe that rules should serve students, not stifle them. Section 29 of the Education Act is clear. A student shall obey the rule of the school he is attending. I'm not here to challenge that. What I'm here to do is to advocate for a shift in the perspectives. Some policies can unintentionally place students at a disadvantage, not because of their behavior or performance, but because of how they look. That's not discipline, that's discrimination masked as order. If elected, I launch student policy forums that invite open, respectful discussion about which rules are working and which need rethinking. I'll collaborate with school leaders and the Ministry of Education to push for inclusive, culturally aware policies that still uphold discipline, but in a way that students understand and can stand behind. Because when rules make sense, respect follows naturally. And next level preparation. This initiative is about turning student talent into real opportunities. Through the real skills for real jobs program, students will gain hands-on apprenticeships in industries like healthcare, technology, and agriculture, bridging the gap between school and career. And as for aspiring entrepreneurs, certified business trainings and pitch competitions will be held, which will lead up to a nationwide entrepreneurship day where students can showcase their ideas and compete for startup grants. It's not just about passing subjects, it's about building skills, seizing opportunities, and shaping a better Jamaica. Intervention and recovery. The recent CSEC and CAPE results highlight the urgent need for immediate action in addressing learning gaps and preventing students from being left behind. Should I be elected, the Back to Basics remedial program will do just this by tackling core weaknesses in math and English through targeted small group sessions during free school hours. Students will also benefit from diagnostic testing, more digital learning tools accessible on platforms like YouTube and TikTok, and a peer tutoring initiative that counts towards community service hours. With full support from teachers and a framework designed to reduce failure rates, this ensures that no student gets left behind. Transformative thinking. The Safe Mind, Safe School initiative aims to tackle both violence in schools and mental health challenges by addressing their root causes: pain, pressure, and a lack of support. I'll advocate for restorative justice programs that give students a chance to understand the impact of their actions, take responsibility, and make amends. In addition, I'll work towards expanding access to counseling, safe spaces, and peer-led support systems. Violence prevention workshops co-designed with ministry officials and community leaders will also be put in place to promote unity and proactive solutions. It's a two-in-one approach to creating safer, more supportive school environments, killing two birds with one stone. Finally, equity for all. Too often, rural and non-traditional schools are excluded, and many student councils lack the support to truly lead. The Council Connected initiative aims to change this. I will ensure the continuation of the Williams initiative to ensure that national events rotate across all parishes, partner with private benefactors for transportation support, and expand virtual platforms so every student can have a voice. I'll also revive inactive councils through training and mentorships. It's shifting the narrative because advocacy isn't just for traditional top-performing schools. Inactivity is a nationwide problem. We have too many schools with a face and a name, but no voice. This must change. Luke 12:48 says, "To whom much is given, much is required." I've been given a voice. Now I'm asking for your vote to use it. Let's not wait for a spark. Let's be the fire that fuels youth advocacy across Jamaica. Vote Michaela Poppley for NSSC president. Let's ignite the future. I thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Poppley. Well represented in terms of your presentation this afternoon. Again, without fail, I am seeing Mr. White having a question. I am seeing a new person, Malik Walker, and then Briana Smith. So in that order, we'll have 3 questions being posed to you. Mr. White, Juan, you may go ahead with your question.
Hello, Michaela. This is Shaquan White, a candidate for the General Secretary. I heard your speech, but there is an important question I really need to ask. Given that there has been conflicts between, student interests and school administration policies, especially when standing up for students, could you put it to me, how would you approach that if the administration cannot relate to what you want for the students?
Thank you for your question, Shaquin, Mr. White. What I believe is necessary is clear communication. I believe that we need to have sit-down discussions with the school administrations, with student council executives, and through educating them on student rights and responsibilities and how the Education Act ensures that students know their rights, and these are set in place laws that govern youth advocacy. Through this, we'll go to schools, we'll sit down with principals, and we'll have a discussion about the rules and the how these would impact students. And I try to convince them, reach a middle ground, a common ground, where we can say, all right, this rule doesn't, students are having an issue with this rule because they feel like XYZ is happening. And so what I propose is this. They can give their feedback and we'll work towards reaching a place where we have common ground. And I hope this is answering your question.
All right. Thank you so much for responding. We're going to be having Malik Walker. You may go ahead with your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Malik Walker. I am the student council president for Spanish High School. I don't know if my hearing is having some difficulties, but Michaela, while you were reading your speech, I heard you stated as a prefect. I heard you mention something about prefect. So my question is, how will you manage being a prefect and hold the position of national president?
Okay, thank you for your question. To be honest, I've been a student leader my entire life, and so I don't think it would be difficult to manage both tasks. I've been leading in different capacities my whole life, and so I'm used to balancing where it comes on to leadership. Hope that answers your questions.
All right, and we'll have the final question now from Briana Smith. You may go ahead.
All right, so hello again, Briana Smith, vying for the position of National PRO. So my question to you is, while I really do love your manifesto and your ideas, it seems that you're mostly focused on corporate area schools. What do you actually have planned for rural regions where students face real disadvantages and are often ignored by national leadership?
I don't believe that in my manifesto, a point was made that what I would do if I was elected as national president is that I try to bridge the gap between rural and urban schools. So I don't feel like my manifesto focuses on just urban schools, in a say, but I believe that it's more of equality versus equity kind of thing, because students in rural students struggle, but students from urban areas also struggle. And so it's just making sure that every student from nationwide, all over Jamaica, gets opportunities to express their voices and that their voices are heard. Thank you.
Okay, and that is it for the presentation as well as question and answer segment for Ms. Poppley. Thank you so much. You represented yourself well, and I also wish you all the best at the polls when they open and they close. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have one final candidate, presidential hopeful this afternoon, and this person is also from Region 1, represent from the Meadowbrook High School, and her name is Briana Brevitt. Welcome, and you may go ahead with your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just apologize for my unstable camera. I'm currently in a moving vehicle. However, the show must go on. So good day, students, educators, and respected stakeholders. My name is Briana Brevitt, and I am honored to offer myself as a servant leader, ready to represent every school across Jamaica as your next national president of NSSC. This isn't just a campaign, it's a movement rooted in purpose, powered by unity, and guided by faith. As it says in Philippians 2 verse 4, let each of you look not only to your own interest, but also to the interest of others. This is the heart of true leadership and the kind I commit apologies bringing to this council. Let me share the vision that has been placed in my heart, one that includes every school and every student. Number one, we'll host monthly Talk the Things virtual forums, a safe space where students from all corners of Jamaica can express real issues and ideas. We will especially uplift the voices of non-traditional schools, urban and rural, because representation should never be based on ranking, but on respect. Two, mental health and wellness, mind and move campaigns. Mental health matters, and we must create a culture where students feel seen, supported, and strengthened. Our Mind and Move initiative will include simple stress relief practices, termly wellness days where we come together as one unit and body to represent the students, ensuring that they also have a voice, especially around exam seasons where we know mental health matters most. Student wellness ambassadors in each parish, virtual open mic wellness sessions to let students speak their truth and build community. We are not just managing stress, we're building strength from the inside out. Number three, Go Green NSSC Challenge. The Go Green NSSC Challenge will engage students in recycling projects, school and community cleanup campaigns, eco art and sustainable contests. Let's protect the earth God gave us together. Four, inner city and rural uplifting projects. Some school needs more support and we're going to give it. We'll visit and uplift schools like Denby, Penwood, Holy Trinity, etc. through student drives, student donation campaigns, needs assessment to provide where it's needed most, and school to school mentorship that says we're all in this together, because when one school wins, we all win. Number five, Let's Level Up Together, a student empowerment series, and its tagline would be because every student deserves to shine. This will be a national motivational tour featuring top student leaders and NSSC alumni, workshops on self-confident public speaking and career readiness, and it visits the underserved schools to share light, love, and leadership. We remind every student that they are created with a purpose, filled with potential, and born to make a difference. I don't take this opportunity very lightly. I'm not here to lead for the spotlight. I'm here to serve, to grow, and to glorify God in how I lead. With faith in God, trust in each other, and commitment to our fellow students, we can build an NSSC that is stronger, kinder, and more united than ever before. So, vote Briana for the students, by the students, one nation, every school, every student, and let's make this dream a reality together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brevitt. Wonderful presentation as well. And there's one person that asked a question of every candidate. I recognize your hand, sir. And if there is any other hands raised, I will recognize you accordingly. But I will now give Mr. White the opportunity to ask a question of you, Ms. Brevitt. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Warren. Hello, Briana. This is Oshane White, General Secretary candidate. I wanted to ask, I read your manifesto, but I wanted to ask, what makes you want to bring in an initiative like mental health and wellness drive when the NSSC has put that initiative out multiple times across the years to come? So what makes your own mental health and wellness drive different from what we've done over the years?
Well, it's not different. It's something that will be built up. It's not something that I'm going to take away, but will add it to make it better, because mental health is a serious issue. And I'm a student first before anything, and I can recognize that as everyone here, who even working persons, they have to ensure that their mental health is intact before they can lead or help other persons. And so I think it's a priority where we can build upon these initiatives where we can, or where it is already at. So I just think it's important to build upon, not necessarily create something that's new, but to ensure that it's maintained and it becomes better. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Briana.
You're welcome.
All right, I see no other hands raised, which is an indication I just see one. All right. So if there's any other person who wishes to speak now after the president or ask a question, you need to raise it now and identify you. Ms. Williams, you may go ahead with your question. And then Lisanne Mackenzie after.
Hi, Briana. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I am Laurel Williams, current national president. So, Briana, I wanted to ask, in working with both your nationals and your regional, as well as local student council presidents and councillors, there may be the presence of conflict, inevitably. Different people, different backgrounds all coming together. How would you work towards resolving conflict within your national exec and regional executive to ensure the proper and effective execution of your plans?
Thank you, Laura, for that question. Conflict is something that will happen, of course. Everyone has different opinions, they're from different backgrounds and such. However, I think listening is it's a start, it's the foundation of resolving conflict, because everybody can't speak at once, and that's just the truth. So ensuring that everyone gets a chance to speak, and if it is possible, take from what each person has to say, so they don't feel as if we're isolating what they are saying, or we're isolating their choice, decision, or whatever it is. But we can work together to ensure that whatever is completed in that time frame, using what we have and the suggestions what we can. Resolving conflict would definitely start with that foundation, of course, as I mentioned, but it goes further with ensuring that, we're listening. I just think that listening is, that's really it for me, listening and trying to resolve it. Listening. I can't really say anything else, because if I don't listen, then I won't know to resolve it. So when the conflict does come, listening would be the first approach, and then we'll take it from there. Because if I don't listen, then I can't make a change.
All right, thank you for that response, Ms. Brevitt. Your final question will come from Lisanne Mackenzie. You may go ahead with your question.
Good evening, everyone. This is Lisanne Mackenzie, National Treasurer candidate. And hi, Briana.
Hi.
I'm not able to throw this question out to more than one candidate, sir.
No, this is a question and answer session for Ms. Brevitt. So if you don't have a question for her, then you can hold on to that question.
All right, no problem. I have a question for her. What specific tools or partnerships will you use to support mental health in schools? And how will the student counselors be involved?
That's actually a question that I was hoping for. There are different entities, especially the student council body that is within the school, will ensure that these student councillors are empowered to carry out the campaign, because as much as we can go around getting resources from other persons, it is important that we use what we have and we start where we are, and that's starting with the students, ensuring that these students are empowered to carry out the campaign, not just the campaign, but are empowered through knowledge, using different resources, ensuring that we are targeting the students to drive this motive, as opposed to using essentially outside sources. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, Ms. Brevitt.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
For your representation, representing yourself so well. And indeed, like all the others before you, I wish you all the best at the polls when they open and when they close. All right, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, we do listen to the ground. We have our ears on the ground. We do listen to the people and the pulse of the people. And there is a great demand for us to extend or open the floor for general questions, right? So if you have, I'm going to ask again, if you have a general question that you want to throw out generally, you can raise your hand and we will give you the opportunity now to ask such a question generally. So as I said, I am hearing, I'm sensing that persons have questions. You may raise your hand and we'll give you the opportunity to do so before we close. If not, and I see no hands going up, I guess we were getting a wrong signal coming in. Oh, I guess not. I see 2 hands going up. I see a Kemar Irvin, and I thought I saw Malik. So I'm going to now move right ahead then. Right, so having Kemar Irvin asking your question. You may open your mic and ask your question.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Kemar Irvin. I'm the student council president for Edith Dalton James High School. I just want to put out there, this is my first time interacting or being within the National Student Council program. I'm looking forward for a great experience and exposure. But one of my questions generally is, a lot of the candidates said one of their objectives is to get the National Secondary Student Council more united, meaning more schools involved. And my school wasn't in it for some time now. And I was just wondering, there are countless other schools that are not aware, that are not in it. And I'm wondering, what is it that our group is going to do specifically to get more schools involved?
Wonderful question, Mr. Irvin. And as it is indeed a general question which you would have asked, and you said most candidates would have indicated that they want to build the unity and stuff. So I'll just give anyone the opportunity. I see Briana's hand raised, which is also a candidate. You may go ahead. You have something to say.
All right, so what I have realized is that most of the schools that aren't necessarily knowing or within the knowledge of NSSC are those that are more likely the inner city or rural area school. So I think that the first thing that we need to do to ensure that everyone comes together, or we have more persons that are part of NSSC, is to target those schools first. And then after we target those schools, then we can focus on the schools that know about NSSC in the urban areas, or maybe the more upper class schools within the urban areas, and carry them, let them come jump on the train, come along with the initiative, because it's not like they don't know, they know, but we just need to empower them or guide them, or give them some more knowledge on what they can do to be a part or more involved in NSSC. So I think the main goal is to strengthen those schools that don't know about NSSC. And after we do that, then we can come back to the schools that are in knowledge and just not active. So that's what I would do personally.
All right, thank you so much, Briana. I'm going to, I see a number of hands raised, but in the spirit of fairness and equality, I see the hands of other candidates, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond. So I'm going to be calling on first Oshane, then Nikquille, and then Michaela, in that order. You may go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everybody, again. Hold on. No, I want you guys to see the helmet. No, let the camera work. Okay. Oh my God. Can you give me a second, please? Sorry. Okay. The NSSC Ambassador Program, I believe, will address that situation right there. You have to realize that the problem is not every school in Jamaica is active, because really and truly, we are not perfect as individuals, and some schools actually don't have no support when it comes down to students' voices, certain issues. So I believe I will ensure that every single school, if we don't touch it, because my also the ability to the max tour will be going to a 100 schools out of 165, and don't believe that the 65 that will be left, those will be schools who are more active. The 65 now, the National Ambassador Program will address. But I believe that it is a sad reality that NSSC is not known to everybody, even to some student council presidents. I plan to change that. Even if the president can appoint an ambassador, then the national executive will step in with the help of the YEOs to ensure that we step into place and appoint someone so that our voices are heard from the National Council. So I believe that will address our thing. And if you want to read a little more on the ambassador program, I'm going to put my number in the chat. Text me. Okay? Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. All next we have Nikquille. You may go ahead.
Right. I would like to thank you for that question. Really sensible question, I must say. Well, to get most of the schools back on board, I mean, of course, what we have already established in the NSSC is courtesy calls, and of course, collaborations with the ministry can also be made. I mean, the council has already built a system based on the when I was general secretary and back when I was serving previously, right? Where we already have courtesy calls that already go out to inactive schools. It doesn't make sense we put our resources into like a youth advocacy board or an inspectorate and spend all the resources there. What we have for this, we have student council presidents. That's why they're there to be our NSSC ambassadors. There's no need to reappoint new people, right? So basically, my plan is to just focus on reforming our databases as president, right? And courtesy calls and capacity building workshops that are already put in place and just further work on those. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawani. Ms. Poppley, you may go ahead.
Thank you for that question. As Mr. Lawani just said, the courtesy calls. So I agree with what he was saying about the courtesy calls, but I'd like to go even further by introducing NSSC TikTok page, and through this we'll be able to call to action inactive councils through TikTok challenges and the likes. So we can reach a broader audience through social media by pushing out videos that will attract students and student leaders and calling them to action, challenging them to take up their buttons and start this race.
All right, so we have one other candidate who will also have an opportunity to respond, and he will be the final person, and we will not be able to entertain any other questions after this. All right, so Mr. Anderson, you may go ahead with your response to the question.
Okay, so what we have to understand is that sometimes the council members simply do not know what to do, and this is the reason why they are inactive. Now, we as the NSSC should reach out to them and assign basic tasks that they can do so that they can become more active as councillors. Furthermore, we should also reach out to the staff advisors so that we can be more inclusive as it relates to NSSC events, especially regional. So we could have the regional executives to reach out to the staff advisors, the principals, etc., to ensure that schools are more active in NSSC regards. Does that answer the question?
Indeed. And thank you all for responding to the question in your own way and representing yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, we have indeed exceeded the time that would have been scheduled for this live debate session by 12 minutes thus far, and I am getting the time signal. So I am now going to be calling on our student governance coordinator Miss Charlene McLaughlin to come and to say the final words to us this afternoon. I wish you all the best at the polls and encourage each other to ensure that you tune into the pages of the candidates. I'm sure they will be continuing their campaigns there. You may ask them questions over there and so forth. And do have yourself a wonderful rest of the evening. Ms. McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. This has been an exciting journey, I must say. We would have started with our regional candidates on Tuesday, and now we culminate with our national candidates. So I just want to extend gratitude to you, Mr. Warren, for able taking us through the presidential live debates. Presidential candidates, it was a good listen. I'm excited to see what the results will be come April 30. So you have an opportunity to continue your campaigning process until Sunday, April 27, midnight. Just to caution you, at the end of that period, you are expected to pull down all campaigning materials, rein in your campaign managers, your supporters, so that nobody breaches the rules by posting anything on your behalf. While we can't control what people do, you have to sensitize them about the repercussions of their actions and so that they can be mindful of how they proceed. On the day of the election, I don't want to see anybody posting vote for or any subtle messages, because I can't dictate how persons will interpret things. You can't either. And so we have to be mindful of our actions and take responsibility accordingly. So just a caution to you all here who are on the platform, delegates, voters, candidates, supporters, be mindful of your actions so that your candidates are not adversely affected by your actions. So presidential candidates, continue your campaigning, keep it clean, keep it respectful, keep it fair, and all the very best. I'm looking forward to working with the new executive for the National Secondary Students Council for the academic year 2025 to 2026. So you take care, everybody. Have a good rest of the evening.
Have a good evening, Miss.
Thank you.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Builder is signing out. Ma signing soon.